Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So I have another book review for you. And this time I will be reviewing How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. Now, this he's on YouTube. He's got his own coaching program. He's got his own members only kind of platforms and stuff like that. The ones that are open to just the public are called, I think they're called video coaching newsletters or something like that. And there's a lot of really valuable knowledge in this book. I highly recommend reading it. It's all about understanding relationships, bettering your understanding of women, and that's if you're a man, of course, understanding relationships with women and understanding the dynamics between men and women, and also just like healthy relationship kind of stuff, healthy mindsets to have per se. And it's all very evergreen. It's all solid. It all checks out, in my opinion. It's definitely one that I think anybody who is interested in this in general, or anybody who's trying to become better at this kind of thing should definitely, it's one of like the S tier, like must read dating and relationship advice books out there. So basically I don't have a lot bad to say about the book. And basically how I came across his work is I didn't really hear or know anything about him, just I do watch podcasts and videos similar to this, so the algorithm just kind of fed it to me, and I kind of watched it off and on here and there. It wasn't like I enjoyed it. There was good knowledge, good information. It wasn't like the main thing I would watch. It would just kind of, every once in a while it would pop up and I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll check out that video. And whatever, right? And so I'm going to get into the things that I don't like very much about his way of doing things. But I just want the audience to know, because I know there's a lot of people that really live by this book. They are very attached to this book, and it's helped them out tremendously. And it's just like they get very protective of it. I've seen that online already so far. So I just want to say right off the hop that I don't have any serious problem or any like negative things to say about Corey Wayne or any of the people that follow his work, maybe a bit more often and passionately than I do. But the problems I have with the message is with the way that, with his message and the way that he goes about it, is, for one, I didn't realize this when I first started watching his videos. It only kind of came later, but the aggressive, intense upsell of this book is a little bit much. Like, I swear, when you're watching this guy's videos, like every couple of minutes he holds up the book like this and goes, you have to read this book. And if anybody doesn't retain the knowledge, 100% perfectly with what he writes in there, he will literally say, oh, well, you didn't read the book 10 to 15 times, therefore you're kind of being a shitty student because you need to read this book 10 to 15 times in order to internalize everything. And if somebody hasn't read the book yet, like, there could be a plethora of reasons. It's not all just that they're lazy or that they don't want to put in the work or whatever. They could still just be studying the overall portfolio of work that the guy has to offer and the knowledge that he does have, like, first before buying the book, right? And if somebody asks a question and they say that they haven't read the book yet or whatever, he'll sort of scold them and be like, oh, well, I'll give you my best advice, but it's not going to be as good as it would be if you read the book. And, basically you're not being a good student. You need to go get the book. And that it's almost a burden to have to answer your question because you haven't read the book yet and you're a shitty student kind of thing. And what I will say, where it's what's okay about that, because I don't like that sort of thing about it, but what's okay about it is you don't see this guy on a bunch of other people's podcasts. You don't see him on other people's YouTube videos. You don't see him collaborating with other writers and stuff like that, at least that I've came across. It's all his own stuff. He has his own podcast with his own team. He has his own line of books that are strictly his. He has his own coaching program, so all the calls and emails that come in are clients of his coaching program. So he's not like out there in internet land on a bunch of other people's platforms just aggressively upselling this book and calling people shitty students. I mean, he has his own, like, the book, you can buy the book, anybody can buy the book, you don't have to be a student, and I'm not like a client student of his, but it's like, so anybody can buy the book, but it's like, it's an add-on to like his coaching program, and it is his own program. So therefore I see what he means, because it's his program, so therefore it's like you can choose other programs if you want. You can choose to follow other influencers on the subject if you want, but if you want to obtain the results that he talks about and get good at the things that he talks about and just be able to conduct your relationships in the way that he advertises you can, then you have to follow his rules, then you have to follow his stuff and read his books and that. So I guess that's okay. But I've been involved in the personal development, self-help, intersexual dynamics, dating advice, of all the different kinds there are out there. Everything from healthy relationship bonding to pick up, like PUA mystery type stuff, Neil Strauss type stuff, to like I could make a list, maybe one day I will, of like all different books and podcasts and influencers I've listened to for a long time about this kind of stuff, and of all different kinds, like I said, not just one. And I can tell you this book, I'm gonna hold it up like he does, is a great book, but it's not the end all be all of dating and relationship advice out there. There's a myriad of other advice out there that will work and could work just as well as this one. And for goodness sake, you can do whatever you want, but you do not have to read this book 15 times. You could literally, by the time you read the book 15 times, even if you only did retain 10% of what he teaches in here, you would get better results. You could yield better results just getting out there and applying it and trying it, even after the first time of reading it. So you do whatever you want, and that's his program. I'm not bashing it. But just my personal advice to you is, do not read the book 10 to 15 times. You don't have to. It's not the only thing out there. It's not the only book that's going to work for you. There's a ton of other dating books. I'd recommend Mark Manson's Models. I would recommend The Game. I'd recommend The Mystery Method. I would recommend Casanova Secrets, which I just did a review for. It's probably the greatest dating book I've ever read, and it's a trick because it makes you think it's a PUA book, but it's actually not. It's like the most wholesome, healthiest relationship advice that I've ever read, yet it's sort of framed as like lures people in with the PUA kind of idea behind it, but it's actually not. Anyway, whatever. There's a big list that we could go on for. There's a ton out there. And whatever, maybe it is true that you only retain 10% of what you read the first time around, but another thing I'll throw out there is that me personally, I usually read things once, maybe twice, and I like to hang on to them. Like, this is definitely a book that you can refer back to. Like, it's always good to have it on you, and you can open it up and flip to a certain chapter, a certain piece of advice that's in there just as a refresher. And that's what I do with a lot of these kinds of books. But what I find is that the most important pieces of it, the first or second time I read a book, the main core of what the book will do for me, at least at this time in my life, tends to stick with me, and then I almost don't really need the book anymore because just that core principle sticks in there. And I think the main message of this book is really, really trying to hammer in the idea of maintaining masculine frame, having that masculine core that is emotional yet indifferent, the emotions are there and they can be seen, but they're under control, they're calibrated properly, they're not needy, they are enjoying their time with women, they are wanting to progress their relationships further with women, but they're playfully indifferent at the same time, and they are feeling all the emotions that come along with it, but they're not allowing themselves to be overwhelmed by them, and if that does happen, they're practicing maintaining that masculine frame by becoming stronger and better from it. And so anyway, I won't ramble on any further, but I did read the book cover to cover, only once so far, maybe another time down the road, but not 15 times, I'll tell you that right now. But so that's my review of How to Be a 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. Definitely read the book. It's one of the S-tier dating books out there, and watch the content in the videos, and I think there's a lot of valuable info in there for you. So thank you very much. Hope you have a good rest of your day. See you next time.